would like to start by sharing one such situation with you, or one such incident which I came across just a couple of months back. So I was on a flight to attend an international conference on surrogacy, and there were two beautiful Australian women sitting near me in the flight, and I happened to overhear them, and they were talking about the possibility of becoming a single mother through artificial insemination. So one of them suddenly asked the other that why is it that millions of sperms are required to fertilize just one egg? And the other one candidly replied that maybe just like men, only 1 in a million have a sense of direction. So the good part over here was that world over, the opinion of women about men remains the same. So coming over to the other aspect, we at Baby Joy have been associated with the field of fertility for more than 4 years now through our surrogacy venture. In fact, we were the first professional organization to provide 360-degree surrogacy solutions to our clients across the world. Now, since this was more of a pioneering field, then we came across various challenging situations and various very interesting situations once again, which I would like to share with you, and let us see how you would have handled those situations. So this was one of our first situations where for the first time there was a intended couple who came to us for surrogacy, and the lady was a very senior government employee. Fortunately, we arranged a very educated surrogate for her, and the surrogate conceived, and both of them were in very good cordial terms with one another. In fact, they were very friendly throughout the process. However, just a couple of weeks before the delivery, we all met, and there was an argument which almost resulted in a fight. Would you imagine what the argument was about? Both of them were government employees, as I told you. The argument was about the fact that who is going to get the maternity leave. So any takers, any one of you would like to suggest what should be the answer to this? Anyways, so even if you don't know, that's not a problem, because even till today the government of India has done. So you mean the intended parent or the surrogate?
No, intended parent.
Intended parent.
Both will get.
Anyone else?
I think both will get.
But the government does not recognize surrogacy as such. So government would be only able to give maternity leave to any one of them. So any difference of opinion? Well, to tell you frankly, even the government of India till today does not have any firm policy as to who would get the maternity leave in such a case. I will come across to another more interesting case. There was this Israeli couple who came to us, who basically contacted us for surrogacy. Now the male shipped his semen sample to US for fertilization through a known South African egg donor. So I'll repeat myself. The male of the Israeli couple shipped his semen sample to US for fertilization through a South African egg donor. The embryos were formed and they were shipped back to India to be transferred into a surrogate. Fortunately, the surrogate conceived and she delivered, and the baby was taken back to Israel. So which nationality should the baby be given? Anyone would like to take a wild guess? The baby could be Israeli, the baby could be American, the baby could be South African, or the baby could be Indian.
Indian.
Any takers on that?
So initially where the baby is born.
Where the baby is born means Indian?
Where the baby is delivered.
Delivered. So baby is delivered in India. So you mean Indian?
In India.
Okay. So all of us are wrong. So were we. The baby should be given the Israeli nationality, because the intended parents are from Israel, and the Indian laws are extremely liberal as far as nationality is concerned. They give the nationality of the country where the intended parents belong. Anyway, we didn't take the risk of giving the nationality, and we called it the Google baby, because no one seemed to be interested in going anywhere. Everyone was just sitting on the computer, and finally a baby was produced with 3 countries involved. Coming back to the field of IVF, which is the basic area of discussion tonight, we all are aware about the history of IVF in India and throughout the world. But there are certain nuances or interesting aspects which we should repeatedly discuss, as they are extremely interesting facts about the history of IVF. We all know that the first IVF baby, Louis Brown, was born in UK. The second IVF baby was born in Australia. And the third IVF baby was born in US. India was credited with its first IVF baby. The first IVF baby in the world was born in 1978. India was credited with its first IVF baby as late as 1986 by Dr. Hinduja at KEM, Mumbai. Most of us would be aware about these facts. What some of us won't be aware about the fact is that the first IVF baby in the world was born in India. It was in the same year, that is 1978, by Dr. Subhash Mukhopadhyay. However, as we Indians are always, we are slightly apprehensive towards anything that's new and pioneering. So Dr. Subhash Mukhopadhyay was really condemned for his work. His entire degree was stripped. He was not allowed to go outside India. He was not allowed to present any paper, and he was not allowed to document any little point of his research. So the first IVF baby was actually born in the same year in India as it was born in the world, just about 60 days after it was born in the world. In fact, the sad part was that 3 years hence, Dr. Subhash Mukhopadhyay, he committed suicide, and the irony of the situation was that the person who was responsible for creating so many lives subsequently took away his own life. In fact, there are certain other 2 or 3 important facts that we should be really proud of. He was the first one also to use gonadotropins as a method of stimulating the ovaries to produce the ovum. He was also the first one to bring about to use the technique of cryofreezing before an embryo transfer. So India has a lot of firsts as far as the IVF is concerned. Perhaps that is one of the reasons why India today is at par with the world as far as the progress, the success rates and the development in IVF is concerned. However, here I would like to share with you a very apt saying that was said by Mahatma Gandhi, that in our society, whenever you try to do something that's pioneering but against the existing social norms, then first people would ignore you, then they would mock at you, and then they would fight with you. However, if this happens, then it seems you are going in the right direction. So we hope that with this new venture of ours, that's Baby Joy, we've taken a small step in the right direction. Here I would like to speak very shortly a little bit about our venture and about our thought process and about our mission. At Baby Joy, as I always say, it's not about doing what others are not doing. It's about not doing what others are doing. So in fact, today in the field of IVF, there are various unwanted and undesirable practices that need to be weeded out. So that's going to be the first mission as far as Baby Joy is concerned. Here I would like to specify some things. The last 1 or 2 decades as far as the field of IVF is concerned have seen a lot of breakthroughs, have seen a lot of discoveries, right from ICSI to the blastocyst transfer, and there has been a lot of research work and progress in the field of cryofreezing of the semen, the embryos, even the eggs now. However, it is a well-known fact now that we are not expecting any more major breakthroughs in the next decade. In the next decade, the main progress of IVF is going to depend upon the customization of the existing resources. In fact, when I was talking to a very great researcher in the field of IVF, he told me that there are 2 things that are going to be most important in the coming decade as far as the field of IVF is concerned. 1, standardization, and 2, customization. On face value, both these things seem contradictory because standardization is one for all and customization is different for each. However, they need to coexist if we are going to have to create a great progress in the success rates as far as IVF is concerned. We have to have standard operating protocols as far as the universal principles of IVF is concerned, and we have to have the customization of the clinical and the embryological aspects for each and every patient separately. So here I would just like to share with you some serious concerns that are existing in the field of IVF today and how at Baby Joy we would like to address such concerns. I would start with our main mission, and our main mission is to achieve the benchmark of what we call the triple A's, that is advanced, affordable, accountable IVF care. Here I would not even want to talk about the aspects of advanced and affordable. The most important aspect is the accountability. Today you go to any IVF center, the only thing that is told to a doctor who has referred a patient or the patient himself is whether the cycle has been a positive or a negative. However, accountability states that each and every reason regarding the success or the failure of the IVF cycle should be shared. In fact, here I would like to tell you that the foreigners teach us a lot. Some of us intelligent people think before we write. Some foreigners, especially the Israelis, they write before they think. They would put each and everything on black and white and then they would hold you responsible for everything. So it's very important to have accountability in this field. The second most important aspect is transparency. How many IVF centers would be able to tell the patient as to what is the protocol that has been used? How many embryos have been formed? How many embryos have been transferred? What happened to the remaining embryos? Were they worth freezing or not? So transparency is important at both the levels. Transparency at the level of the patient, and if the patient is referred by a gynecologist, then transparency at that level. The third most important thing, compassion and sensitivity. We today treat patients in bulks. We do not lead to customization as per every patient. It's extremely important to be able to give compassion to these patients who are already dealing with such a lot of stress. There are certain other important aspects which need to be highlighted. The concept of packages. We are dealing with lives, human lives. We are not dealing with holidays that we can talk about packages. Shortly, I have started hearing that there are packages which are promoted. If you get 3 cycles done, then you have to pay for the cost of 2. It is something which is extremely condemning. We need to try for success right from the very first cycle. In addition to that, I would like to state that there is the concept of dealing in batches. We are not doing experiments on animals. We are dealing with the human lives. So how can we have batches wherein the customization of each patient is so important? In fact, the process of batches started because there are fewer embryologists as compared to the clinicians. So it's very important for a lab or an IVF lab to have an in-house embryologist. There are various other important aspects like the importance of having an in-house path lab. Today, I would tell you about my own experience. I got my mother's thyroid tested from 3 different labs and they reported absolutely 3 different values. Even the doctor could not decide whether the etroxin had to be reduced or it had to be increased. Same is what happens to our patients of IVF. AMH is such an important pathological test that helps us to see the future course of action. However, the values are so varied that the doctors would be susceptible to making wrong clinical decisions. So there are all these aspects that are extremely important, and we as a responsible IVF center would like to address such aspects. Coming over to our main mission. Our main mission is to be able to provide advanced yet affordable IVF therapy. Now here when I talk about affordable, I do not mean that we want to be a little economical as compared to other IVF centers. I mean that we need to be substantial in cutting down the cost of IVF so that we can penetrate into the masses and we can give the services of our IVF to a much larger population who require it. Today an IVF process without medicines would cost anywhere between 70 to 90,000. In addition to that, there is a medicine cost of 50 to 55,000. So the entire process comes to somewhere around 1.5 lakhs. We would like to revolutionize this in our own small way. At our center, the cost of one IVF cycle is only 58,000. We also give the injectables at a discounted cost, and our basic objective and aim is to bring about an IVF cycle at a cost less than 1 lakh inclusive of medicines, which is not even the cost without medicines at various other centers. So our objective is to try and bring about the IVF cost inclusive of medicines within 90 to 95,000. Yeah, this is the XC machine. This is the first and the only model that has been installed in India right now. It is the most advanced model that has been ever produced by Nari Shige. It is IX73 Nari Shige micro manipulator with ON3 Olympus microscope and Tokai head stage warmer. Next. This is the OT. Next. This is the andrology lab. Next. All the clean room facilities have been used. In fact, here an air handling unit has been used, which is a combination of air purification and a positive air pressure. The air purification is it constitutes of 3 to 4 aspects, which include photocatalytic oxidation, HEPA filters, and UV lights, and activated charcoal to be able to take care of VOCs, CACs, microbes and particulate matter. In fact, there is no particulate matter that is allowed in the lab of more than 3 microns. Next. The recovery area. Next. Now, I come to the last part of my presentation, and this is the most important part of my interaction with you. The objective of today's meeting is to have a transparent interface between you and us. By you, I mean the gynecologist and us. Next. Now here I would like to state certain aspects which are extremely important. As I said, we have a very high-tech system of sharing the entire progress of the patient with you as well as with the patient. Each and every step of the patient's practice will be shared with you right from the time the patient has enrolled with us to the time the patient has conceived. The next important aspect is many a times it must be found by the gynecologist that the patients are referred but the patients never come back. That's because of the practice that various IVF centers are also maternity centers or nursing homes. However, we are primarily and only focusing on IVF. Neither do we have the infrastructure nor do we have any interest in doing the maternity practice. So it is for sure that the patient shall be handed over back to you once the patient conceives. The third important aspect is that people want an area to be geographically suitable and near to their homes. So our center is located at a very hub area which can be easily ventured from north, west as well as central parts of Delhi. We are at Rajouri Garden and we are very well metro connected. Next. Now this is one of the most important aspects of my presentation, and it is here that we would like to bring a little change as far as the field of IVF is concerned. If you remember, I told you that we would like to bring down the cost of IVF from 1.5 lakhs to 90,000. Now you might think that either we are working on a loss or the other centers are earning a little too much. However, both the scenarios are wrong. Even at 90,000, we would be earning a profit. But the important aspect over here is to be able to create the volumes. There are hardly 3 or 4 centers in Delhi that have high volumes of IVF care. However, today, if you really want to have the volumes, then it becomes important to have associations with the gynecologists. The IVF centers till now have worked in isolation, but gone are those days now. It's extremely important that we explore the possibilities of associating with you. This association with you for us is essential. However, for you, it's a choice. It's a choice of wanting to expand your clinical as well as academic horizons, as well as your choice to be able to be in a position to make a change. So here, there are certain pioneering concepts that we've come up with. There are 3 ways that you can associate with us. One is a conventional way, which all of us have heard about. That is a referral tie-up, where you could refer your patients to us. We shall send the patient back once the patient has conceived. We shall give you the reports of the patient at every level with great transparency. The third part again is a new concept. We would welcome you to come to our center for all your IUIs, which you can do yourselves. And our center's advanced facility and highly technically oriented staff would be at your disposal. So you could come and do all your IUIs at our center. You are more than welcome to do so. But the third part is the most important part, where there can be a really mutually conclusive association. That is what I want to call the stimulation protocol tie-up. Here what we can do is that all of you who would be interested in doing the stimulation of the patient at your own center, you are welcome to do so. How we would do it is that the patient for the first time will be referred to us. Our doctors, IVF and fertility experts would make a stimulation protocol and hand it over to you. You would carry out the stimulation protocol of the patient yourself, and you would have to send the patient across to us only at 2 occasions. One is the aspiration and the other is the ET. There are various advantages that this particular concept has. One, the patients always have a complaint from their own gynecologist कि मैम आप process नहीं करेंगे, where are you sending us, will that doctor be good? So you can be in close vicinity with your patient throughout the process of the stimulation. 2, it would be an enhancement of your own exposure as far as the stimulation protocol and getting into the area of fertility is concerned. And 3, we are not losing the patient, and at the same time, you are getting the stimulation protocol from our side, you are getting the expertise from our side, and another important aspect is that we shall also supply you with the injectables or the gonadotropins from our end to you at the cost price. So you don't even have to worry about at this level. Then we shall also have weekly or fortnightly academic sessions at our center where you could come and discuss about your case studies and all your challenging cases and the ongoing cases. Next. So if at all you associate with us at any level, then we would carry out various activities at your center itself. We shall promote your center as a center of excellence for fertility management. We shall do a lot of free camps. There could be IUI camps. We shall hold OPDs at your center, and at the same time, you are more than welcome to come to our center and maybe participate in various academic sessions. So on each one of your table, there is a small feedback form. My only request to you before we move on with the next program is that if at all you feel you would like to associate with us at any one or more than one levels, then just fill up that form. You just need to tick any one of the kind of association that you would like to have with us, and we shall get back to you on that. So this is the number of our PR team. You can save the number. Most of you will already be having this number on your mobile or WhatsApp. Our PR team will SMS this number to you, and you can also get in touch with any one of us personally to be able to have an association subsequently. This is the hotline 9555044044. You can also visit us through our website babyjoyivf.com. Next. Lastly, it's important for me to thank a couple of people. So first of all, I would like to thank my own team on behalf of which I am speaking over here. I would like to thank Dr. Seema for sharing the vision with us. I would like to thank Dr. Preeti for being part of the vision. I would like to thank Dr. Jagajit for executing the vision for us. And I would like to thank our extended team, which consists of embryologists, Dr. Partha is here, which consists of embryologists, patient counselors, PR people, paramedics, and the entire extended staff. In addition, I would like to thank some people who played an instrumental role and been a lot of support to us, right, given us unconditional support right from the beginning. They include Dr. Sunita Lamba, Dr. Sandeep, Dr. Manu, Dr. Archana Pathak, and there are many more names. Pardon me if I am forgetting some of them. So lastly, I would like to say that may God give us the courage to bring about the change we can. May He give us the patience to accept things which we can't change, and may He give us the ability to know the difference between the two. Yes. And as always, lastly, I would like to end by saying, let's create babies. Thank you very much.